welcome to the
Guy Weapon Guy
YouTube channel.
Hail Hamish.
No, don't hail anyone. Guy Weapons, he's not Hamish. Hamish is dead. Guy Weapons Heavy's a bloke who uploads clips of my videos. He's not Hamish. He really wishes he was.
I do love how a donation that uses my name to get his attention, that I had nothing to do with, is used by the old man to have a pop at me. I don't even have to do anything and the old man starts making things up. This is good foreshadowing for what will come later. But anyway, I wish I was the great and glorious Hamish, do I? And of course you'll have proof of this obviously, so if you could just show it now, that would be great. Well? We're waiting. No proof? How unexpected.
During the Chiang Mai
I don't know.
Eddie isn't in the videos anymore because he isn't old enough to decide whether or not he wanted to be involved.
Correct.
And then says in the very next sentence that Eddie asks to be in the videos pretty often. So Eddie's clearly made his choice, hasn't he? Old man.
I've got to skip it now. That's too stupid. That's too stupid. A 7-year-old cannot make a life-changing choice, which is what Eddie was back then. Eddie. That's too stupid. That's too stupid. Just because a kid wants to do something, it doesn't mean they're old enough to make a choice.
Look at that face, bless him, he's really satisfied with himself. Proper thinks he's done me there. Of course he ignores the actual point that was being made. Number 1, if we were to take your words regarding Eddie, as we will call them, at face value, which we shouldn't anyway because they shouldn't be trusted. But saying we did, then yes, by the literal definition of what those words meant in the order that you said them, my criticism still stands. However, reason number 2 is more subtle, so no wonder the old man didn't understand it. My main point of contention was, you were not being completely transparent with us regarding your reason for keeping your nephew, let's say, out of the videos. If you'd said something to the effect of, Eddie keeps asking to be in the corner but I think he's too young to make a proper decision, so I'm keeping him out of it for the time being. Then there wouldn't be a problem. Alas, you chose not to convey that simple piece of information with your lack of transparency regarding the situation. And then of course you act all high and mighty about it. What you'll come to find is that a lot of the old man's behavior in this series can be aptly described with the following quote: arguing with an idiot is like playing chess with a pigeon. It'll just knock over the pieces, shit on the board and strut about like it's won anyway. That is the old man to a T. And what you'll also notice, he'll misrepresent and strawman what I'm saying and then use those as reasons for him not to address and skip my points. But you'll see more of that later.
I don't think you can be the messenger of someone that you've never met. I think he'd like to be. I don't think you can have that.
Hey, I don't think it's for you to decide. But anyway, sort of a nothing point really. I know what Uncle Hamish said, you've told us what he said, I'm simply carrying that on. You do realize you don't have to know someone personally to carry their message, right? You don't have to know someone like Martin Luther King Jr. personally, to carry on his message. But regardless, someone who has behaved the way you have and treated Uncle Hamish in the way you have, has no say in the matter.
You can't be the messenger of someone when the only information you have about them is what I gave you.
No? I guess if you only knew Martin Luther King Jr. by his famous, "I have a dream" speech, you couldn't carry the messages and sentiment contained in that speech because that's all you knew of the man? Doesn't make much sense really. You really will try and pull anything out to discredit me, won't you? Except of course, pulling out something actually credible.
144.
No, not yet. I did have a prison set up for that before COVID, but
that I've ever
that
heard
all
in my
went.
life regarding why he took down the YouTube short where he was in a Thailand dispensary cafe. The canny coping kind of dispensary. To paraphrase my nephew himself, it's got nothing to do with the watershed and you're an idiot for pretending it has. This was confirmed sometime later during
Oh, what, when I was really high?
He admitted he actually deleted it because he was paranoid. This
Yeah,
is the
'cause I
type of
thought it was
insane
past the
behaviour that you've
watershed.
come to expect from these junkies.
How can it be so difficult to
145.
understand?
You really, really, need to stop saying things like this when it's you that is missing the point I'm making. The watershed is the period where it's acceptable to broadcast content on television that is deemed to be unsuitable for children. Given how time works, watershed is not a fixed period as time does not occur simultaneously, so there will always be times every day where it is and isn't watershed. So therefore, you'd constantly need to private and unprivate that video to accommodate the watershed hours, wouldn't you? Which would be nonsense. That was my issue with it, your very obviously nonsense explanation that suggests time occurs simultaneously.
Claimed he was the average age to have children, despite being more than 8
We've
years
got to
older
pass
than
it.
the national average.
We've got to skip it. It's just too silly.
146. Never finished his mile.
Just too silly.
I said he'd do this, didn't I? Straw man and willfully misconstrue what I'm saying so you can make excuses to skip over my points. Why did you skip over my point about you not being the average age to have children? It's statistics. You, at age 42, would be just over 8 years older to have children than the national average in the UK. But you claimed you would be the average age to have children at 42. That's just statistics. But of course, you don't want to answer that. So off you go, skipping it.
I got paranoid that it wasn't past the watershed in England. Literally explaining it yourself there.
Sorry about the noise, that's from the donation that he's not skipping because apparently that's acceptable, but mine is nonsense. But anyway, no, it doesn't explain itself. For what you were saying, both at the time and now to be true, time would have to occur simultaneously, or you'd have to constantly private and unprivate it depending on whether it was watershed hours, which you never did. So, nonsense either way. Ignoring of course watershed hours in other countries. Let's not even consider watershed hours in other countries, so you'd have to private it and unprivate it even more. Which obviously you would do, even though you didn't, because you were definitely telling the truth. Wasn't just a paranoid thought brought on from your druggy indulgences that you're refusing to acknowledge. I don't think the man who proclaims to be against nonsense yet also feigned ignorance on, and tried to make excuses for child marriage to try and avoid coming across as overly critical of Islam should be talking about.
I honestly did not know he'd had a 9-year-old wife.
Oh, this is a good one. Probably the old man's worst lie yet, both in terms of sheer dishonesty and a lack of morals. So, in a discussion, which he previously lied about ever having by the way, he'd implied in a previous stream that we'd never actually gotten him to talk about child marriage. Yet here he is defending his comments on it, quite interesting. But anyway, in a discussion about the Prophet Muhammad's participation of child marriage, you didn't know any children were involved. So, do you think that Muhammad didn't participate in that, but people just say he did for shits and giggles? Now, obviously this is bullshit, obviously the old man is lying. You don't not know someone was married to a child when you're discussing them being married to a child. But, let's not be so hasty. Maybe we do live in a world where that exists. Probably the same world where the old man thinks time happens simultaneously. So, if we did live in this world, what wouldn't exist? Yes, you're absolutely right, the old man certainly wouldn't have directly responded to and referenced the age of the child in question multiple times in that discussion, absolutely not. As the old man is incapable of lying, this must be true, it doesn't exist. What's that? Hold on. Oh, hello Mr. Rosen. Lovely to see you. Mr. Rosen was actually a pupil of Uncle Hamish back in the day, for those of you who don't know. What can I do for you? Yes, well of course, he wants to say a few words. Take it away Mr. Rosen.
Let's remind ourselves of a few things, shall we?
I feel like I've read that post thoroughly about 3 times now. Oh, the 6-year... Okay, yeah.
I honestly did not know he'd had a 9-year-old wife.
Yeah, who'd want to marry a 6-year-old?
I honestly did not know.
But it's never right to be with someone that young.
Honestly.
While yes, it is funny, I think it's quite sad and disgusting that you really won't tell the truth about anything, even something as serious as this. You will not admit to your wrongdoing. You will lie, and misrepresent, and deflect, but you know what you won't do? Tell the truth and admit what you've done. But anyway, I will be ending this part on that quite horrible note. But don't worry, next part should be the finale, and we'll see how the old man acts just moments after telling such a massive barefaced lie.